and welcome to episode number 25 of my knitting and craft podcast. If you're lucky in the corner there, you can see my little cat Lulu. I wanted to record this outside today because it's such a nice day, but the traffic noise is much too loud because I live glamorously very near the slip road onto A3. And although I've stopped noticing it when when I record, you definitely would. So, a little bit out of sync. But I don't really have, when I say out of sync, I don't have a set schedule to record my little knitting podcast. And I've completely forgotten to say that I'm a knitter and general crafter based down near the south coast of England. You can probably tell from my accent I'm originally from Essex, but I've ended up down here in Hampshire. Yeah, I don't have a regular slot. I try to do about like once a month ish, but I went to Southern Wool Show at the weekend and I've got very excited about it because it was my first time going and it was so brilliant, so I want to tell you about it. So yeah, if you've been here before, thank you for coming back, and if you're new, welcome, and I hope you stick around. So first things first, I'm also the owner of the Etsy shop Gin Poodle, where I make vintage reproduction hair accessories, mainly hair nets called snoods. I'm not going to waffle on about those too much today, but these, you wear them on the back of your head and it's like a hair net. And I am constantly making black ones because that's the colour that sells out so much. I'll pop them up there for now. And then next up is going to be bright pink, which is one of my favourites, but people don't tend to buy it very much because it's not really an authentically vintage colour, although I will argue that it would fit in 50s Atomic. But you know, you can't force people to buy things. And just because I like it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else will. So, as I say, I've been to the Southern Wool Show. I'm going to show you what I bought there because I'm super excited about it. Also got a couple of books to tell you about that I've read. Just get my little notebook to hand to prompt myself. Oh, I've left my blooming socks upstairs. Bear with me. Right, I'm back. Oh, I am shambolic. This is why I call this most exclusive knitting podcast on YouTube, because I have a low number of subscribers and viewers. Maybe because of my shambolic leaving everything upstairs all the time. Anyway, here are my Scrappy socks that I finished. Oh, so happy with them. These are a mixture of West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas yarns. So that one I think was called Silent Night. I did helical, one row of each colour, just plain. So it's one row of West Yorkshire Spinners signature, sort of, you know, just the plain colours. Oh, I've got myself in a right old tears. Calm down. In milk. So it's one row of like that white colour and one row of West Yorkshire Spinners self-striping Christmas yarn, and I can't remember what the name of that one was. I thought it was Vintage Tinsel, but I don't think it is. I think it's something else. But it doesn't matter because I've forgotten. And the toes are sparkly giddy yarn. But I think I really would have had enough of this Silent Night to do the toes as well. But I didn't want to risk it. Anyway, I really love those. I super love those. And it's Strictly starts on Saturday, doesn't it? So that means I can cast on another pair of sparkly socks for the start of Little Drops of Wonderful's Strictly Sock Along, which surely I can start this Saturday. I mean, I think I can start. Cheating's encouraging that, isn't it? So I could really just cast them on whenever I see the trailer or what have you. Lord knows there's enough of them on YouTube. Right, so that is it for finished objects for me. Because, oh no, it's not. I'm going to put a picture in. Do you ever volunteer for things and then regret it? My local knit and natter group, which I love, I've been asked to make a postbox topper because the Asda store has got an indoor Royal Mail postbox, which are flat, much flatter and quite wide. And we've got a woman in our group who makes postbox toppers, and she puts one at the end of her street, but she doesn't make them in that shape, and she's hurt her hand and can't crochet so well at the moment. So she was going to do like a sort of seaside-y theme one, and then she was going to do like these lovely like little beach huts around the bottom edge as a sort of like almost like beach hut bunting. Really lovely. Anyway, I was only half listening when they were talking about it, because someone stands up in the group and was saying, right, so we're going to do this. And the beach huts have got had like a contrast colour little, they're only like about yay big, they're only little, had like a little roof on them in a contrast colour, just like a little I-cord band across the top. And they said, oh, can anyone, they were saying about doing the houses, and she was saying, oh, if people can knit those, that's great. So, and if someone can just do the top. And I thought she meant just do the tops of these little beach huts. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that, no problem, because I've got a little I-cord maker thing, so I thought I can just hand crank a load of those, and that will take me no time at all. But no, what I'd actually signed up to do, which I realised minutes later, was make the actual base of the postbox thing, and it was so much work. Let me tell you, I was crocheting that thing like Billy-O every spare moment, and I still only just made it. I think they had wanted it for like the week before last, but I gave it to them this week. And luckily the woman that's putting it all together was on holiday last week, so that gave me an extra week. But man, they are a lot of work. I'm going to put in a second picture, or maybe, yeah, of the same thing but with my hand on it, so it gives you an idea of how massive this thing is. Anyway, it's done now, but the moral of the story is do not volunteer if you're an idiot and only half listen to things. That is a thing people say, don't they? Never volunteer for anything. And that's why. So yeah, I've made quite good progress on this. I'm showing you a bag like that's the thing. Jumper I'm making for the mister. I'm on a sleeve. I finished the front and the back. I'm sticking to my thing as much as possible of doing at least a couple of rows on this every day, and that's working for me. I'm making good progress because it's a project that I'm finding quite boring to do, and I can't do it in the evenings because it's dark yarn and it's double moss stitch, so you got to you can't just sort of mindlessly knit it. You've got to pay attention of where you are. And I'm on sleeves, so they've got increases, so I need to pay attention to that too. But yeah, oh, it's quite see-through, isn't it? I doubt very much that you can see the double moss stitchy bit. This is to remind me when I'm on the front. But yeah, I think he loves it, and I'm hoping that since I'm on the first sleeve now, that I'll have it done in time for winter. But the history is that he tends not to wear. He didn't wear at all the last jumper that I made him, which I found quite galling. So I've made this one in a colour that I would wear, so it won't go complete to waste. I've got to show you something out that I bought at the Southern Wool Show that's on that project. I bought one of those things, you know, that you wear on your wrist and you can knit as you walk, and I've put it on that project to try it out, but I don't walk anywhere with that project, so that was a foolish mistake. So here we've got another, well, a pair of socks. This is Dragon Hill Studios self-striping yarn. It's very pretty olivey goldy colour and grey, and I can't remember what it's called. But I was making these as a pair of toe-up socks. Have I kept the thing in here? No, of course I haven't kept the band. I was making these as toe-up socks for Mr, but they were coming out really quite big. I don't know why my gauge was so off with them, but it was, and I got him, and I could, you know, when you can tell when you're knitting that this is going badly wrong, but I just carried on anyway. And then in the end I did the sensible thing and asked him to try them on, and they were, he tried to pretend they're okay, but we could both see they weren't. So I frogged them and I've restarted them, but as ribbed socks, and they're coming out beautifully. And Dragon Hill Studios make my favourite self-striping yarn, so I always buy a ball of their yarn when I see them at shows. They weren't at Southern Wool Show, which is a shame, because I always miss them if I don't see them, because I can always do with another ball of their yarn, even though I've got two balls. I've got that one, I've got one that I haven't started yet, and I've got about half a ball left from my purple stripy socks that I made, which is the yarn that I've got earmarked. What was that? I think it was a lorry. I've got earmarked for my first pair of Strictly socks. Now, I've got a little bit of crinkling. Shush, crinkle, crinkle. I'm not going to get that out yet. That was, remember I showed you that yarn that I got at a charity shop, and I froze it and everything. It's all fine. Oh, that's the remnants of the postbox topper. So that's a project bag that I need to break down. I've got all my bits and bobs that I needed for that project in here. Giant crochet hook, all that stuff. So I just need to put all that stuff away again now, which I'm pretty bad at doing. Lulu, did you see Lulu jump through there? This is another pair of socks for my sister's neighbour. I've not made much progress on these because I was doing that postbox topper. So I made him a black pair and a navy pair, and this is a nice dark bottle green colour. It's just one of the first of the two socks. It's just a 2x2 rib at the top for the cuff, and then the body of it is a 2x2 broken rib, so one row of rib and one row plain, and that's the same pattern I'm using for the Mr's grey socks, because it will just hug his feet nicely. So yeah, I can get back onto doing those now, can't I? Now that the volunteer postbox topper is done. Do remind me never to volunteer again. It took up so much time. And you know, when you're just not really enjoying something and you're doing it, it feels like a chore, and then that makes it take twice as long, doesn't it? Oh yes, now this, oh, I love these socks. I'm really into making stripy socks at the moment. Like, isn't that lovely? Oh, isn't that the loveliest yarn you've ever seen? I'm making a pair of super shorty socks to wear in trainers, or well, I say trainers, I don't wear trainers, I don't even own a pair of trainers. Vans, Converse, or my DM shoes. So I'm doing a forethought heel, so I've got a little bit of waste yarn in there, and then I'm going to put a heel in later, which I'm kind of regretting already because I've fallen back in love with heel flap and gusset, but they're only shorty socks, so they won't take long. But look at the pretty speckles in there. Why are all the pretty speckles going on the underside of my foot? That's the top. I mean, they are still there, but like the big blob of them on the underneathy bit. So yeah, this is another bit of West Yorkshire. I don't look after things, do I? West Yorkshire Spinners signature in whatever grey tone that is, and this is, I believe, a might be a felt fusion or it might be pixie yarn, but it was a Sock Saturday yarn from Handmade Studios, the Sock Saturday that went to in May, and I didn't, it might have been even earlier, anyway, whenever it was, I didn't fall in love with the pattern. So I was knitting the socks, wasn't really enjoying it with this yarn because it was a very textured pattern, and I felt it was detracting from how beautiful this is. Look at that. It's a one-off, unfortunately, so not available to buy, so perhaps a good thing that I can't remember the name of the dye. But it is most beautiful, beautiful colour. See, I'm striping it with that grey, and I think that looks absolutely smashing, and I'll have a ton of that left. And I might make some Rose City rollers with what's left. Hey Luli, you're going to come and say hello? Hello. Hello. Yeah. You've got lunch though, haven't you? She's got lunch. Right. I've got a couple of books that I read, but I'll tell you that after I tell you about the Southern Wool Show, which was amazing. I have never been to that one before. I'm an Unravel person. I live closest to Unravel. I can drive, but I don't drive because I'm really, really bad at it. And I think it's very important to recognise when you're a really crap driver that perhaps you shouldn't be on the road. I'm just a bag of nerves. So I tend to go to Unravel because, as I say, I live down towards near Portsmouth, let's say. So it's quite easy for me to get to Unravel on the train. I do love a train journey. It's really not so easy. If you drove, it's not so bad. But on the train, it's quite hard to get to Southern Wool Show from here because you have to go on the train up to Guildford and then back out again. And it takes 2.5 hours each way, and it's like £45. So quite expensive, and quite, you know, it's 5 hours out of your day just sitting on the train. So I've never been before, but I've always been super jealous of everyone else who's gone because it does look like the really good, and it's really affordable to get in as well. It's like, I think I paid about £7.50, and you can buy a ticket that gets you in for both days, which would be amazing. You definitely could do both days there because it's just got a lovely atmosphere. You know, when you walk in somewhere and you just, even queuing up outside, I haven't even told you I got there yet because I didn't get the train, but they have a lift chair page on the website for it, which I hadn't seen before. And someone in Chichester was offering a lift, and she picked me up from my home. I mean, amazing. I was quite happy to go and, you know, go to another town for her to meet me there. But no, she was perfectly happy, and she had a sports car, which was amazing. It was lovely. We drove to the Southern Wool Show with the roof down and zipping along, being this, and she was like, you know, one of those people who's just really interesting. She's just got a really interesting life and history, and she's really cool. I mean, had like the most amazing, I love people who wear colour, and she had quite a colourful dress on and the most amazing glasses, and she was brilliant because she told me where she got them from, and you know, gave me the link to it and everything, and even like recommended which frames she'd bought and which were not so great and which ones were, she had quite a few, I think, and there was only one style that she was a bit like, not so much, but all of it was just, I don't know, she was just great and a really lovely person. So that was cracking. It was like, you know, you make a friend, you couldn't arrive in more style than in a really stylish woman's sports car, could you? It was great. I really loved it. And even queuing up outside, the organisers were lovely. They came along and gave you use like your what's the word, brochure, this thing, that's like your entrance ticket. You show them on your phone, you know that you bought a ticket, they give you this, and that's basically your pass to get in. And I wish I could go and... Sorry, I just got a notice on my phone for my grocery delivery tomorrow. What do you need to tell me today? Anyway. Yeah, I would like to go for the full 2 days and do one of the workshops as well. Because it was so great. There's like let me show you this. There's 2 grandstands. If you've ever been to a race course, it's Newman race course, you know those grandstand buildings are massive. So, and they had cafes upstairs, so masses of seating, absolutely tons of it, and there's lifts and everything, you know, it's accessible. I think that's a pretty gold standard yarn show. Really, really amazing. Now I'm trying to remember the name of someone that I bought something from. Might have been them, might not. Sorry, bear with. It wasn't them. I think it was them. Right. So, without further ado, let me show you what I bought. I've wanted one of these for ages. You know those you wear, look, and you knit, you can walk holding with that over your wrist, and then you knit away. And like this is I've got the big spike on because this yarn's held double, so I need to put the second ball on. Just I've used up the second ball. And it came with its small friend. Now usually when you buy these like on Etsy, you have to choose excuse me, dry throat, the size of your peg. So that would hold like one skein, one ball quite happily. But this one will hold like you know, like a commercial yarn that, you know, they're more sort of fat and upright, aren't they? Or 2 caked yarns. And it's got this, look, it's got a very sparkly wrist thing. And that came from Philpsy, who were at Unravel in February. And there were things they had on their store that I forgot to buy at the time. So I was super pleased that they were there. And she's a lovely woman, so she's really kind of chatty. And because it's not mad there, you've got loads of room. And so you can stand, you don't feel squished up and pushed. You know how at Unravel, sometimes it can all feel a bit too close up and too, like people pushing past you a lot. You've got so much more space at the Southern Wool Show. And the stall holders, the traders can, you know, the dyers and makers and what have you, they can all take a bit of time with you. It's just has a lovely, lovely atmosphere. So yeah, that was one of my first purchases. Well, that wasn't my first purchase actually. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what order I paid for things, does it? No one cares. No one cares, Miss. So many people there though, and loads of like people that don't go to Unravel, which is amazing. One of my favourite people who I've never met in real life before, Witchycraftylady, was there selling her Poledale 4-ply. I mean, amongst all, you know, all her spinning and other stuff. But look at this beautiful green. Anyway, I want to make I'll put a picture up, the Rocket Tee by Knitterish. And I got, if you remember, this fluffy mohair yarn from a charity shop, and there were, you know, about 5 or 6 balls of it, and plus this bit, and it's, you know, it lived in my freezer for a week. It's all fine, but you need stripes of this and stripes of 4-ply for the Rocket Tee, and I want to make a long sleeve version, so I need more yarn than was in, you know, that's in the pattern. But I didn't have anything that goes with this, but I really love this. It's got some golden tones and it's dark green, and it's just absolutely lovely. So, Almas to the rescue. I was looking at these and I was thinking, well, I only actually really need 2 of these, I think. And then she said, just as a sort of kind of like, those are the last 4. And I looked at her and she said, I mean, it'd be silly not to. She's so right. She was so right, because these are just £8. I know. So I got 400 grams and it's 400 meters per skein of this for £32. And this yarn, I think it was about a £5, something like that, if that, from a charity shop. So I'll have a rocket tee for about, you know, less than £40, with really nice wool as well. And you know, if I've got any of that olive green Poledale left, I mean, I love that colour. Oh, it's really like my colour. I might make, I don't know what else I'll make with it, but I will make things because it's so lovely. And I've knit with this yarn before and it knits beautifully. It's so lovely. And she's such a nice woman as well. She's really kind of, I don't know, friendly and smiley. She actually, I'm quite jealous of that. She's got the most amazing eye colour, I noticed, because I've never met her in person. Yeah, like kind of golden tone to her eye colour. It's really lovely. I mean, you can't really say it to someone, can you? You can't just, like, in the middle of buying some yarn off someone, go, my, what beautiful eyes you have. Which might be slightly creepy. Now, oh, I bought some patterns. They give you all these bits that are like tempting bits to take to go to other yarn shows that I can't get to, which I'm quite like, now I'm like desperately keen to go to them. Knitterish Designs. Now, I'm going to tell you, Knitterish Designs does not have great photography on their patterns, which is a shame, because they had a stand that had everything that she sells made up in more than one sample, and I didn't take pictures of anyone's booth because I'm an idiot, and also I feel a bit awkward about taking pictures, that because it's a yarn show, there's lots of people around, and people, you know, I don't like having my photo taken, so I don't tend to do it to other people. I could ask the booth if they let me take pictures, but I just am too awkward and shy. Like, I saw Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful there, and I know everyone says she's really approachable and really, really lovely and doesn't mind, you know, and she says herself she doesn't mind people come, she likes people come saying hello to her, but I just got all awkward and couldn't do it and regretted it, because I would have liked to have said to her, like, thank you for hours and hours of enjoyment, but yeah, I didn't. So I bought 2 patterns from Knitterish Designs. I bought a dress pattern. Now, obviously, I'm not going to show you anything that's inside this pattern, because which is a shame, because inside the pattern at the back there are some better photos of the dress. Now, these bands here are mosaic knitting, so it's super easy. Let me see if I can show you these with that. There we go. Can you see? Oh, it's so nice. So yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a knitted dress? I fell in love with everything. I'd never heard of her before, and that's the beauty of going to a different yarn show, isn't it? Yeah, never heard of it. And she does retreats as well, apparently, in Devon, which would be nice. But my cat can't cope with, my cat won't eat if I'm not in the house, so I don't go anywhere. And I'm happy to do that, because I've waited 30 years to have that cat. Having lived in London and in shared houses and rented places, I couldn't really have a pet before. So I waited 30 years for her, and now she gets her own way about everything. And a tunic design, which is a similar design really to this one, but with long sleeves, but they're straight sleeves. You see, they don't have any, they don't come in at the wrist. And you can use up all your like mini skeins. I know I've got an Advent set that I didn't use, and now I don't know where it is. It's upstairs in my stash somewhere, but where that is I couldn't tell you. But I will dig it out. And I can't wait to make that, because I love tunic length things, and I just think that will be just the most perfect stress busting kind of beautiful thing. And the neckline has got like a little picot edge, and in one of the versions she'd done the picot in pink, and then the main body of it was cream, and it looks so pretty, like a variegated pink contrast yarn on the picot edge. It was absolutely lovely. Yeah, I can't show you anything inside, because there are more photos inside that are better again, but I can't really show them to you. When I first walked in, there was a stall, and I can't remember which place she was. Who was she? Sorry. To have a really quick look at this, I think she was B6. Knit One Kits. Yeah, she was Knit One Kits. She had loads of lovely kits on, and I should have bought the kit. I just bought the pattern. Now, I don't like the cardigan, I must admit, but I do like this sideways jumper. It's an Aran weight, so I'm looking to maybe combine yarns to use up scraps for that as well, because I think that looks really lovely. But I've also seen some Aran yarn that I like. Yeah, so this is a Rico Designs pattern, which if I thought it through, they sell Rico Designs at my yarnery, which is a local to me independent knitting shop. Yeah, I loved that. It just looked, she had a sample hanging up, and it was the first stall you saw as you went in, and I always think that the first stall you see probably doesn't have the best show, do they? Because everyone thinks, oh, I'll have a look round, and then you don't buy things from the first one that you see, do you? You kind of think, oh, I'll have a look round and I'll come back, and then by the time you come back, you spent all your money. So I thought, no, don't shilly-shally, just get on with it and buy it, because otherwise someone else will buy it up and there'll be none left when you come back. So pleased, because I think she only had one spare standalone pattern. The rest were made up into kits, and really, I think I should have bought the kit. But if it gives me an opportunity to use up some odds and ends, that would be a better thing, really, wouldn't it? Well, only another two things to show you now. I got another one of those yarn holders. I think this is from a stall called Wonderful Wool. And I just love the prettiness of that red orangey colour, and that's one that I will use next weekend, because I'm going to go to a marathon, and I can knit socks as I walk around with that, and I will enjoy that very much. And that was so reasonable, £5. £5. And I saw this on the store and thought, oh gosh, that's lovely, isn't it? I was looking through them. She had some green ones that had like, I think, a bird design on or something like that. I really like geometrics. So, and I thought, oh, that's lovely, I should get that. And then I walked away, and I got to the end of the line, and I thought, why did you leave that there, you silly moo? So I went back and got it. So I think there was only 2 of that design on her stall. So I would have really regretted that if I'd not got it. Now, last but certainly not least, my favourite maker of knitting accessories in the whole world is Pickle-Lily. This is a yarn bowl which will hold a single skein all snugly and beautifully, and it's really sparkly gold. So I have bought this for the purpose of the Strictly Sock Along, because I'll have more than one pair of sparkly socks on the go at a time. I saw this DPN holder. That's Pickle-Lily, that's the name. And just couldn't keep my eyes off it while I'm talking to you. My eyes were just drawn to this all the time. Look at the happy veg. I love this. And I use these DPN holders a lot. I've got quite a few actually from Pickle-Lily, and they're so great. But yeah, the whole time she was talking to me, because I was putting together, I went to buy a little present for the woman that gave me a lift. So she was chatting to me about that, and the whole time she was talking to me, my eyes were like, So I've got to get it. It's silly. It obviously needs to be mine. And I bought these. Oh, I love these. Now, Lord knows I do not need any more stitch markers, but look at the enormous cuteness of this. Oh, look at a little pumpkin sticker on the top. And then when you open it, inside, 3 progress keepers. All Halloweeny. Stay still, you. Look, a little pumpkin with a witch's hat. A jolly spider. Oh, it's not a pumpkin, it's a cat. Oh, look, it's a cat. It's a cat in a hat. Oh, that's lovely. It's even more lovely than I thought it was. And my favourite, hello, Boney. Oh, look at him. Isn't he great? See, I was so happy with those. And look, even the little bit of string that she's held them together with is kind of Halloweeny colour. Oh, look, aren't they lovely? So yeah, I can't wait to get started using those. I don't think I'm going to hold those back for October. I think I'm just going to start using them immediately because they're so brilliant. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I love the Southern Wool Show, and I am going to spend a fair part of next year trying to work out how I'm going to get there again. In fact, I might go on the website as early as possible for next year's one and put a notice on asking if anyone's going, and asking if I can do a lift share again, because that was a great way to do it. But yeah, I just see now I've been like, I'm not going to be able to not go again. And did I need any of this stuff really? Probably not, but am I super happy now that I've got it? Oh, and Knitterish Designs gave me a brown paper bag, which has made my cat, hello Lulu, hello, which will make Lulu very happy because she loves a brown paper bag. Right, now, if you're off now, thank you very much for sticking with me for this. Go have a quick little drink of my coffee. Thanks very much. I'm just going to tell you about books and a couple of, about me going to Revival at the weekend, and then that's that. So if you can stick around, please do. I've finished, but if you're off, then try, nice seeing you. Do come back, like, comment, subscribe, all those things, please. So I finished reading Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torz, I'm going to say. I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to say it. That was a really good book. Really, really enjoyed that. The ending was a bit... my problem is I'm always disappointed with the endings of books. They always feel a bit rushed to me. I also finished Upstairs Downstairs, My Life in Service, a sort of memoir of Hilda Newman. It was okay. I don't really recommend that one. She was quite a moany person, and not my cup of tea. I finished this just, oh gosh, I don't speak this much from one week to the next. I work from home, and Lulu's not the greatest conversationalist, to be honest. Not always. She won't put up with a lot of my nonsense, so it comes to you. Baby, hello, hello. I'll be with you soon. I finished reading this, The Secretary by Renee Knight. I've never heard of this author before. I think she's got another 2 books. I'm definitely going to buy more from her because that was really good. If you've ever worked as a PA or executive assistant, secretary, what have you, I'm pretty sure you will sympathise with a lot in this book and really get it. And if you haven't, then it's a good insight, and it's really great. It's a kind of it's on the front. It says it's an explosive tale of revenge. Yeah, there is revenge at the end, but it's more it's like quite a slow reveal. It's really good. And this is my current read, Agatha, Raisin and the Deadly Dance, A Quick Step to Murder by MC Beaton. I love these Agatha Raisin books. I know they're silly. I know it's just like a little bit of frippery nonsense, but it's my kind of thing. Nice, cosy village mystery. They are quite samey, these books, in the end, like when you've read quite a few of them. But I like that as well because you kind of know what you're getting, and when you're in the mood for a bit of a comfort read, for me they're just a ticket. They make me happy. And I do like Agatha, the character Agatha Raisin, even though she's a curmudgeonly old git, I really like her. So that's it for books. Oh, I'm listening to some audio books as well. I just listened to The Fortune Men. I can't remember who that's by. I'll put it up here. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I've totally forgot. Because I listened to it on the audio book. You don't have the author's name in front of you all the time, do you? So hard to remember. It was good, quite sad, because it's based on a true story of a guy who's wrongly convicted and hung for a murder he didn't commit. It's very interesting, post-war Britain in sort of the Tiger Bay area, I think, of Wales. Yeah, much enjoyed that, although it was a bit of a downer. And I'm listening to, I can't remember what it's called, so I won't tell you now. Something like Seeds of Murder. It's my digital reader, the library reading group. They do a digital readers group where you either listen to the audiobook, or, excuse my washing machine by the way, you either listen to the audiobook or you read the digital copy of the book. And I always listen to the audiobook, and that's it's fun. It's very much in the sort of Agatha Raisin vein of like a cosy murder mystery thing, except no one's been murdered in it yet, so which is good. So at the moment it's just a woman going around doing people's gardens, and the characters, it's like a, you know, like a private road cul-de-sac kind of thing with quite fancy houses and nice gardens. So she's just kind of, you know, getting to know everyone at the moment, and they are a real bunch of characters, so it's quite fun. So yeah, that was really good. And I don't think there is anything else. Oh, yes there is. What am I saying? I went to the Goodwood Revival at the weekend, which was of course excellent. It did rain, but we were lucky we went on the Saturday, so it didn't rain all morning. It only rained in the afternoon after lunch, when we were about ready to go home anyway, because it's a lot of walking, because there's so much to see, and the detail there is unbelievable. If you've never been, I really recommend it. Tickets do sell out pretty quickly, I think, so when they announce the dates for next year, you need to hop on it. Yeah, just there's too much going on to be able to tell you about it. There's like a little indoor bit in the Earl's Court bit where it's almost like a film set in a way. They had like Mini there, and there was a little bit like a pretend tattoo parlour, and you went in there and you got a sticker, a stick-on tattoo. You could have your portrait painted, like a quick watercolour portrait done. There was like a mini arcade in there where you could play, you know, Galaxians or what have you, like retro games. It was really great. And then there's a dance tent outside the Verve Clico dance tent, and the dancers in there, because obviously there's a lot of people that go to it that are really into vintage, and they can do all the dances, and I can't dance, which is amazing, seeing the live bands, and there's lots of different live bands. There's a fairground. There is of course all the vintage racing, which was all on sustainable fuel this year, so that, you know, moving with the times even though it's vintage. spearheading really, because they're the only ones doing that. We saw the Setrington Cup, which is the little kids in the most beautiful pedal cars. They have like a pedal car race on the motor circuit. Obviously not the whole thing, because that would take them several days, but it's so lovely, and they're so into it, and the parents are really into it, and it's just like the whole place goes crazy for it. And we got a really good viewing spot, so that was amazing. Yeah, there's just so much to see and do there. I couldn't tell you, but I must say, if you can go next year, please do go. And if you see me there, I wore a 50s style dress with my 5-tiered lace petticoat underneath, which doesn't do too much volume because I'm busty. I don't want too much volume on the bottom, but it gave it a nice exaggerated A-line, but not a full skirt. And I loved that. It was super comfortable to wear, and it's not too hot. And I had on a snood, obviously, and I had a 1950s hat, you know, those sort of huggy hats that hug the back of your head, like a quarter hat kind of thing, that I wore over the top of the snood, so my hair was all in it, so I didn't have to worry about anything. I had a brolly, obviously, and then we got the vintage bus here. We got the train, which is the best way, I think, of doing it, because you don't get caught in traffic or anything, and you don't have to worry about the fuel getting boggy and having to be towed out. And we got the vintage, you get a vintage bus from Chichester station to Goodwood and back again, which is amazing, which is all just part of the fun. And I love listening to all the people who are all excited and talking about it, and, you know, seeing what people are wearing and stuff. Massive part of it is the people watching. You could literally just sit with a cup of tea and people watch all day there, and you would have as good a day as anyone else. Pretty amazing. Anyway, it's 1:45, so 45 minutes in, I am going to stop there and love you and leave you, and hopefully I will see you again pretty soon when I have finished some more things. You take care now, but don't forget to like and subscribe to help me with that algorithm fella. Bye bye.